Episode 3, taking tests and getting tests back. For this episode, I do want to answer at least one question. One of the questions that I got the other night was, hey, how come you're wearing the same shirt every day? I thought, oh my gosh, if that's your biggest worry or issue with my class, then let's move on, okay? The bottom line is I filmed a bunch of these at one time, and that's just the way it goes. Okay, so when it comes to your tests, study. Remember last time we talked about making a T-chart. What do you know? What do you don't know? Okay, focus on the big problems over here and then kind of move your way down. Remember, just like the funnel with all of this work here, we got to think big picture, big ideas, big important key concepts, and then get to the smaller stuff as you have time. Now, I'm hoping that you're not just cramming all this work in the day before. I'm hoping that you're actually studying maybe 3 days in advance. You know, it's not unheard of. And when it comes to that, you cannot always rely on your friends, okay? People, I don't know how else to say it other than people might mislead you because they might say, oh, I didn't even study for that test, or yeah, I'm going to study tonight. But they might be secretly studying every single night. You don't know. And I think that it's important that, like I said in the last video, you need to be focused on yourself. You need to be out for yourself and advocate for yourself. And if you know that this is a class that, man, this stuff is a lot. There's a lot of content. There's, you know, social studies or something. There's a lot of dates and locations and things that I have to memorize and spelling counts. You got to give yourself enough time. Otherwise, you are setting yourself up for failure. And I do believe that students get the grades that they earn, right? It's not what you deserve. I think it's what you earn. And if you're going to not study and you're not going to take these big topics and kind of whittle your way down, then you're going to earn an F. And that's just the way it goes. But let's say you turn in that test, you did your best, you know, you come back, you get the results, and you're not happy with them. Well, the first thing you should do is spend some time and look over that test and say, let me erase some of this. What did I do right? Okay, kind of like what I was saying in the first episode of like, what are you doing that's great on these tests? Are you super awesome at multiple choice? Are you understanding the dates? Are you memorizing stuff that's important? Okay, because you want to take this test and then learn from it. Like I said before, like start to figure out, oh, this teacher really doesn't like it when I write these paragraphs and I don't use complete sentences, or I'm running off the page, or I need extra paper. There's a lot of times that I tell my students, like I said, I'm a math teacher, where if I give you a math problem and I give you another one here, this is as much space as I want you to do the work, okay? I don't need you taking 10 extra sheets of paper and then writing all these sentences of like, this is how you got your work done and this is why, you know, if it says explain. I need you focusing on this little area and then moving on. If I give you a full page, then yeah, I probably expect a lot of work, okay? But you get your test back. It wasn't as good as you thought. Look at your test, see where you made mistakes. Now, if you are able to take the test home and look at it and really analyze it, I say do it. You know, those students that look at their test and toss that thing, try not to do that in front of a teacher. It's just a word to the wise. You know, we are there to support you, but, you know, that really does kind of put you in a negative light. And getting back to the whole thing with like setting yourself up, I don't think that really does that, okay? I would say at the least take that test and take it home and just give it one more look over, okay? Now, when it comes to points that you miss, I say fight for every single point on that test. I say that, yes, you got a score that you're not happy with, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that you're not allowed to go back to that teacher and talk to them. And when you talk to a teacher, you got to do it in a certain way. So let's talk about that. Okay, so you take the test, you don't do well, you're kind of bummed about some of the points you missed. You think you did better than you should have, you know, or your score says. And I think that what you need to do is set up a time to talk to that teacher. Now, it kind of depends on the teacher and it depends on how things go. At the least, you should bring it up to your teacher in a way where it's very casual and polite, respectful, and easygoing, okay? If you can, bring in your test. Now, when I do this kind of stuff, I work with students on talking through this kind of thing. It's not easy in the beginning, and you're going to trip over your words, and you're going to go, oh my gosh, like I sound so dumb talking to this teacher, asking for points back, because that's how you feel. But that's not really the case. What you're trying to do is to help yourself to understand, what did you miss and why? Because you want to correct it on the next test. Believe it or not, there might be another problem just like it. There might be something that you need to do right after that, like a short answer essay or something, and you've already gotten one of those where you missed a couple points. So why would you not want to know what was it about that where you got docked a couple, a couple points or two? I would want to know. And so when it comes to talking to the teachers, be respectful, be polite, do it at the right time, but be specific, okay? You got to go in, and I don't care if you missed 18 problems on a test. On every single problem, if you have a sticky note, if you have a piece of paper, you should have something that shows that you have gone back and checked it or looked at it or done something. So when you talk to the teacher, you can say, on number 3, I noticed that I missed this. Can you help me understand why I missed that? Can you show me what I could have done to get more points on this problem? I think these are great ways to ask a teacher, because you're not putting them on the spot. Who knows if they actually made that test or not? So you're not judging them. And you're just being open and honest, saying, hey, I would want more points on this. Like maybe your friend got more points than you did. Maybe there's just one little thing that if you had just used this other word instead of the word you chose, it would have made the entire sentence correct. But by asking very specific questions, you're hopefully going to get specific answers back from your teacher. The other part to doing this, or the other benefit to talking to your teacher, I don't know why I'm pointing to that. The other benefit to talking with your teacher like that is you're showing that you are invested in your learning. Like I was saying before, you got to step up. You got to own this stuff, and you got to show that you care. I mean, I tell students, I grade tests super fast sometimes because I'm going home or going out that night for dinner. I got stuff, I got a life, I'm doing things. And sometimes it just doesn't work out where I have time to really dedicate 3 evenings to grading tests. And so maybe I do go a little bit faster. And maybe I did make a mistake. And if I make a mistake, I own it just like you should. And I'll say, you know what, I didn't score that correctly. Or you know what, you do deserve some points back. They'll see that you're invested in your learning. And I guarantee if you continue to do this, if you continue to push, then they're going to start to take notice of that. And so every time your test comes up in front of them and they're scoring it, I believe that they will spend a little bit extra time on your test and make sure that they can justify every single point they take away from you. It's a great skill to have for you to be able to go to people and be specific and respectful and talk to them about why you missed points on something or why you didn't get something. It's a great life skill to have. So you talk to the teacher, you show that you're invested in your learning. And like I said, hopefully the next time they score your test, they think, oh, this is so-and-so. And I know if I take off too many points here or there, they're going to be walking right up to my desk. And I practice this with students in my classes. And I always tell them how, you know what? I'm telling you guys to come and challenge me on points. I'm telling you guys that it's important that you fight for every single point you get on these tests. And it's important that you practice this now as a young adult. So when you become an adult, you are willing to stand up for yourself. And believe it or not, even in my class, I'll have 25 people there. Everyone's like, oh yeah, when I get the test back, I'm going to come right back and talk to you. And then I give them their scores back and they look at it and they're like, oh, I missed a point here, half a point here, quarter point here. And I'm like, come talk to me. You got an issue, come see me. And then sure enough, how many people end up coming to me out of those 25? Usually like 3. And then out of those, that actually have, how many people have legitimate questions and issues and things that are specific? Usually about 2. And I'm starting to notice, now we're halfway through the year, it's the same people. And I'm proud of them. And I tell them, I'm like, dude, you're getting it. And if you carry this on to next year, you're going to be that much better off. Because how many students do you think are in your school? I don't know, at least like 1,000. And how many students do you think are really going on every test to ask and fight for every single point? Probably like 9, okay? And so it's not like you're really putting the teacher out because you're one of like so few that they won't even notice. And so it's actually a win-win for you and the teacher. You know, the teacher starts to say, hey, this person really cares about what they're doing. And as a student, you know, you're now seen as, oh, wow, this person is actually invested in what they want to do. They actually care about this class. They actually want to fight for every single point. And I think that's pretty cool. So when you get your test back, don't just look at them, slump down in your chair and say, psh, got a B, got a D, got an F, whatever, right? Look at your test, man. Take a look. Maybe they scored a bunch of it wrong and they just didn't notice. Things happen. We're people too. And you got to understand that a point here, a point there, those points over a semester add up. And I always try to show people that if you got a couple points here and there throughout the semester, that would move you up sometimes an entire grade. And people go, oh my gosh, like I should have been doing that. But you got to do it soon. You can't just take a test and then 2 months later be like, hey, remember when I got that C? You kind of got to invest in yourself in the moment. You got to do it sooner than later, okay? So try it. It works. I talk to so many students that have tried these techniques. They've gone to their teachers with specifics and have gotten more points back, or they've found a way to make a good connection with that teacher, and things have turned out very positive. So stay tuned for the next episode. Subscribe to my channel. I'll keep seeing you doing these videos. You're on your way to success. I know you can do this. And if you have a question and want to be on the show, send it to my email and I'll do my best to get you there. All right, talk to you guys soon. Have a good night.